Hello everybody and welcome to Lutys Chainsaw Mods. I was hoping that this was going to be a lot better video than this is at the moment. So I'll tell you about my day at the moment. I've replaced a wheel bearing on my car today, which, you know, that went okay, to be fair. I've done that. No problem. I did a few other little jobs around the place. Anyway, I thought, right, as a treat, I'm gonna this one is the Parker that was on me dyno, and I was basically using this Parker because it was standard to calibrate my dyno. Okay, and it has come out pretty well, as good as it can do. You know, it looks like it's pushing around about 3.1 horse, which, yeah, it's a well run in unit. But it was all about calibrating my dyno. Now these are rated at, I think, 3.2, so my dyno could be reading a tiny bit lower than it should, but you know, I'd rather that than trying to fake something, really. Anyway, I thought I'd get me one of me fast saws on this dyno, you know. I feel a bit gutted, really, because the bloody saw's playing up, you know. I even got, because this saw is the one that revs to 18,000 RPM. I did a job with it a few weeks back, and it performed really well. And I was cutting a tree over in a hedge, like, and it ended up, for some reason, it was revving, but it wasn't cutting properly. Anyway, when I got it out, it did finish the job, and it cut through a piece of angle iron, literally cut through this angle iron with a standard chain, but it's ripped 4 teeth off the chain doing the job. I was, you know, finishing it like. I've used it, I suppose I've used it for a year on and off, this saw. Done different various jobs. It's even gone through a bit of oak. It went through really well. Anyway, I thought to myself, I'll put it on here, and I had a little bit of trouble to start with getting this Timber Pro off, the Parker, sorry, getting it off, because the guide bar that I've got on this dyno was a little bit long. You know, I ended up taking the clutch off to get it off, so I've shortened my bar now, and I managed to put this fast saw on, and it's actually a Charles Jackal's saw, this, but it's exactly the same. The guts are the same as a Timber Pro CS580, and I've got another one over there as well, called a Timber Pro, whatever it is, I don't know. But that's 58cc as well. So these are all the same. These are the saws I like, really, you know, 58cc ones. There's a Noah clone saws, but they're all the same. Anyway, this fast saw I've got here is the one that's got a carb off a 372. It's been really gutsy, a really fast cutting saw. It's the one that I did a video of thrashing the ass off me Still MS362, and it really did. It was twice as fast, this saw. So anyway, I put it on, I managed to get it on my dyno, and it didn't seem right straight away, like, you know, it was peaking out at about 10,000, 11,000, and it never normally does that. It's really, you can tell by the sound of them, you know, once you get used to your saws and what have you. That I could tell there was something wrong with it. And anyway, I thought, well, I'll measure it anyway. And it came out around 4 on this dyno. I reckon it should be at least 6. And I'd logged it on the dyno at, I think the cutting speed was about 7,000. Now I know this saw cuts because it's got a RPM meter permanently attached to this, and I know it cuts in the cut at 10,000 RPM, and it revs max out at 18,000. That's why it's so fast. So realistically, it should have been a lot higher than 4 horse. Anyway, I thought, well, I'll try it again, you know, and I tried it again. Now it's bogging out now. It's bogging out now, and then it's cutting out, and now I can't start it unless I use Easy Start. So I don't know whether the carb's full of crap. Something's up with it. So that's a job for the future that I'm going to have to, I'll strip that down. That'll be one of my next jobs, I suppose. I need to get that running right, really, because it's my favourite saw, this one. It's really good. Anyway, so the dyno, I did some runs earlier on with this Parker, just making sure everything was working okay and everything. I had trouble with my bloody camera. I had trouble with it trying to read all the meters and gauges, because I've got a weighing scale which weighs pounds-feet. I've got a permanently fixed RPM meter. I couldn't see that properly, so I ended up putting another one on it. So I'm running 2 at the moment. So I'll see one or the other. They are both the same too, funny enough. So anyway, I put them on, and I put my camera back on, and I tried it, and I wasn't able to see one or the other both at the same time, because obviously you need pounds-feet and RPMs to calculate your horsepower, and I couldn't see either. I'm so vibrating so much. I put a little stay at the back here of the camera mount, because I put my camera in there and it looks down on the gauges. Put a stay on it. That didn't make any difference. So I'm setting up a camera now with a separate stand to see if I can get that right. And it turns out it's the vibration through the whole dyno that's going up through the stand and making the picture blurry, you know. So what I did in the end, I just literally put another piece of old air filter foam on the top, and instead of tying it down with cable ties, which is what I've done before, usually slip them over loosely, I've got rid of the cable ties, and I've actually made myself a tie with another piece of sponge, so it's holding it more gently. I'm getting a really good video now when I run these on the dyno. It's taken away all the vibration, all the blurriness. So yeah, I'm just having me beer here. You know, it's I've been out here all day really. I've been doing my car, obviously, and doing this, and yeah, I'm a bit disappointed, because my point of this was going to be to fire up the dyno and show you lot how, you know, how it runs and what have you, because obviously when I do a dyno measurement I can't video as well, because I use my camera on here watching all my gauges and everything, and then I look back on the video and see what it's pushed. But my idea was to do a reading and see what it came out at, this saw, but unfortunately it let me down. And then I was going to do another video and just showing you what I was doing, you know, loading it up, loading the dyno up, etc, etc. And but it didn't work out because of blinking, the saws playing up. One thing I did have, well, a couple of things I did actually. I decided I was going to buy, I bought a load of brake pads for this dyno, because this is it's got a mountain bike caliper on this. So I bought a load of brake pads, and I did buy some performance pads, blue ones, or supposedly they're performance ones. They're not expensive, these. I ended up buying quite a few, like, you know, but they're not expensive. So I bought these blue ones, these performance ones, and I put them in, and I did manage to run it with them, because I found that the more standard ones were a bit soft. So they seem to be lasting, you know. I mean, I've done a good bit with them. I ran with the Parker, and then I ran with this one. And then the other thing I had a problem with was the mountain bike brake caliper kept winding off. So I was pushing my brake further and further. So what I've done, you can split these calipers. So I split the caliper in half, just undo 2 Allen bolts, and then the adjuster is literally just a threaded piece with a pad on the end of it that pushes against your pad to adjust them. So all it relies on is the thread to just take the play out. And I think the vibration of this dyno was making it come back, and I was having to push the brake more and more and more and more. So I thought, what am I going to do? So I stripped it apart, and I did put some Loctite on the thread, and I've been, as it's been drying, I've been just making sure that the Loctite is just interfering and not locking it, because I've been moving it every so often to make sure it's going to do that. And it is, to be fair. It's pretty good actually. It's worked quite well. So yeah, it's working well. The dyno's pretty good, to be fair, but now my blinking saw's playing up. So it's got a nice stiff bit of stiffness to that adjustment now, which is good. So I can just pull it up till the disc moves, and then I've got, that's lovely, that is, that's nice. I can take out the play and the cable as well. No, that's great, that's brilliant, that is. Yeah, that's good. So what I do, I set me weighing scale on 0 before I start the engine, because obviously, because I set the pads quite close, as soon as I fire that engine up, it's loading already with the drag on the pads. So I set it with it not running on 0, and I fire it up, then I do me run, take the readings, etc. Like, you know, it's working really well, it really is. I'm just disappointed with this saw, and I think there's some dirt inside it or something like that, or maybe I don't know, it could be sucking in or something, I don't know. So, because it won't even start now unless I put easy start in it. So that's where I am today. Yeah, oh, the other thing is, which I just had actually. I got this. It's a temperature gauge. Now it goes up to about 120, but at the end of the day, realistically, it's for the cylinder head. So it's a little digital gauge, and there's a sensor there, look. So what I've got to do is mount that sensor onto the head somehow. Not sure how I'm going to do that yet, and it runs off 12 volts as well, so I might have to use my boost starting pack to run it. Or what I might do is see if a 9-volt battery will actually operate it, and then just mount a battery onto the dyno. I don't know, but I could spy a company called NORXI, some sort of performance company that does performance bits. Yeah, so I'll try that on it, because the thing is, especially when you're pushing more power, obviously you get more heat, and really, obviously, because I know the exhaust's really hot, obviously, but the cylinder is cooled by the cooling fan and the fins. So really 120 would be okay, because really if it's exceeding that, it should be below that on the outside of the head. If it's exceeding that, then you've got a problem. You know, most things, they sort of start seizing up at about 110. If the outside of the cylinder is that hot, then the inside is hot enough to make it seize up. So that's what that's for. But I've got to figure out a way of getting it in there without literally taking, I want it to be able to just fit it into the you know, into the fins of the cylinder somehow, so that I don't have to take anything off to test another chainsaw. So I'll do that. There'll be another meter that I can put on there that I can monitor. You know, it's I am disappointed, but never mind. It'll give me something to do anyway. I'll strip this saw down, take the carb off. I'm pretty sure it's a carb issue. I mean, it could have blown a crank seal, but this one's had crank seals on it before, because it blew them out last winter after I'd just finished building this. Like, it blew the blinking crank seal out on the one side, so I'm hoping that'll be all right, because I super glue the crank seals in now on these things. So it's just a quick one really from Lutys Chainsaw Mods. It's not what I wanted it to be, you know. I wanted you lot to have a look at it, have a look at this dyno running, and but there you go. So the light's not good here tonight. I don't know whether it's because the sun's getting low or what, but it's rubbish light. But yeah, there's me. Let's put the sun behind. Maybe that's a bit better. So there's me saw, me CS580. It's and that's the big carb on it, the Husqvarna 372 carb. So it's got an adapter on it as well, because when I do these, I have to remove my air filter. I make these free flowing air filters for these, and you know, they work really well, but you have to remove them because I connect into the HT lead with a couple of RPM meters. So yeah, I don't know if you can see in there properly. I put tubes and everything in these, so I put tubes to from the outer casing to the adjuster screws for the high and low jets, just to seal it all up a bit better. And then obviously the RPM meters mounted on the cover, so it's permanently on there. So anyway, I'll get this saw apart. I don't know whether it be this weekend, it might be next weekend, I don't know, but I'll get it apart and I'll hopefully get it going, and hopefully next time I might be able to do a proper run on this with this powerful saw, as long as I haven't damaged it too bad. I don't know what I've done to it, but yeah, so you know, I'm glad I solved that fault with it. You can see the sponge probably. Let me pull it around here. See, that's my pad, but I've put another pad on the blinking top now. So I normally put my phone in, but now what I do, I put it underneath there, and then it looks down onto the meters, but it's so thick and spongy now, this, and it's taken away all the vibration. So you know, if anybody's thinking about building one of these things, it's just something I've learned. I originally was holding my camera on with a couple of elastic bands, which did seem to work, but I found over time the light coming through the window destroyed the elastic bands, you know, and so they don't last. But I find that this, because I've made basically an elastic band, if you like, out of a piece of sponge, just to hold it down. It has to hold it lightly, and then I've thickened the bed that it sits on, and it seems to be really good now. You know, I can actually read the readings when I do the videos of the RPMs and the torque. Yeah, oil everything as well, you know, oil my arm, and I need to get some use out of it, really. You know, I've only ever run the Parker on it, the standard Parker, so I need to put a fast saw through it and see what it can do. So it's just let me down. So anyway, I still hope that you've enjoyed this little snippet of Lutys Chainsaw Mods. I'm going to finish my beer now, and then I'll go in and get some tea, I think, in a bit. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and bye for now.